American Express raises its annual fees, even higher than most people would ever imagine. Sapphire Reserve does the same and raises its annual fee to $7.95. American Express updates its Delta airline cards. Chase does the exact same thing with United, even copying down to the exact offer on these said credit cards. Rumors of the Ritz-Carlton card raising to $6.95. We all know the Platinum card has sat at $6.95 for the last 4 years. American Express introduces credits to be used throughout the entire year of owning the said card, hoping you can never recoup that annual fee. Chase just so happens to copy the exact same method, introducing their own credits that they hope you can't use. Amex introduces the Amex Once Per Lifetime on pop-up jail to dissuade new people for applying for new cards. Chase adopts the exact same strategy, introducing their own pop-up and lifetime language. American Express nerfs and introduces the fee of $195 per authorized user to get into lounges. Chase copies and does the exact same thing for the exact same price. Want to have full access to lounges with all these credit cards? You better spend $75,000, and for the entire year, Chase introduces its own $75,000 cap for the exact same benefits. On top of that, Capital One is also following suit and dropping lounge access for its guests and authorized users. Gone are the days of credit cards with high amount of perks and benefits that we can easily use. And it's all because of one thing right here.
"2024 was another strong year for American Express. We had record levels of annual card member spending, record net card fees, and a record 13 million new card acquisitions. We also saw continued high card member retention, best-in-class credit performance. We're confident that we will continue to bring in large numbers of new premium customers, especially millennial and Gen Z consumers and small businesses, with substantial room to continue this growth. It's clear that our premium products are resonating well with these age groups, whose spending needs will continue to expand as they move forward in their lives and careers."
So as you can see from the CEO himself, record acquisitions, record profits, record amounts of Gen Z and millennial taking over and dominating the entire niche that is the new premium credit card game. And when one player in the exact same space is dominating above anything else that anyone has ever seen, what do? Well, you could either fight them or you can join them. And that is exactly what we've seen from all of the changes that Chase has made over the past couple of months. Everything to follow suit and to follow the leader that is American Express. And I really don't blame them. As you can see right here, a statement from the earnings call from American Express mentioning that the Platinum Card benefits and services resonate across generations, particularly with the millennial and Gen Z audience, who accounted for 35% of all total US consumer spending in the last quarter. The CEO mentions we're going to take these cards to a new level, not only in what they offer in travel, dining, and lifestyle benefits, but also how they look and feel to meet the evolving needs of our customers. Fortune also mentions right here that Gen Z accounted for 75% of new American Express Platinum and Gold card holders drawn to benefits like exclusive event access and dining perks. That's right, we've entered the era of Gen Z making American Express cool. And of course, this is something that we've known for at least the last few years now, all on credit card YouTube. Anybody who watches credit card videos has known that American Express has always been touted as like the most fun, the most exclusive brand over the years, even though it's extremely easy to get approved for their credit cards. As we've seen, and let me repeat again, Gen Z accounting for 75% of new American Express Platinum and Gold card holders. We've hit a new era. And with Gen Zers looking for the finer things in life, having a richer taste than I would say their older counterparts, we're going to see so many different changes over the next couple of years. And there's two main parts that I want to break down in this video and why I think this is going to continue for the future. The first part I thought was said so perfectly eloquent that I had to put it right here as a quote. This guy asks, why is everyone so mad that young people can have American Express credit cards? Perfectly said by this person right here. I couldn't have summed up the first problem right here. Because they all have fallen for American Express's aspirational marketing that leads them to believe that American Express opens up a luxury lifestyle, and they refuse to believe that they are eating just mediocre food in a crowded airport cafeteria. The source that he mentions? A sucker who has multiple American Express credit cards. That sucker is me. And like I said, I think that beautifully sums up the issues that everyone that I have seen in comment sections, on Reddit threads, forums, the highest level of this game have said about American Express over the past year or so. They introduced these lifestyle perks and credits that you can actually use to have higher elevated experiences, but for an extra added cost that really isn't necessarily exclusive to these higher end cards when you get down to the nitty gritty. They've also found that airport lounges, I've seen more and more videos talking about airport lounges, more so in the last couple of months than I've seen in the last couple of years, where I think most Amex Platinum card holders are really frankly tired of it. And more people are seeing the lack thereof value of these airport lounges as they've just gotten more and more crowded. And while health is kind of on the rise and people realizing like the food that we get at even the highest ends of these airport experiences really isn't even that great to begin with. And while they could be a good way to get away from the general airport terminal, people are starting to note that just typical priority pass access through cards that have no annual fees might actually be less crowded in some cases than these high annual fee cards that everybody just seems to have at this point. Remember, when everyone has one, where is the true exclusivity? The second issue, and why I think this will persist across all different credit card issuers, not just Chase, but also Capital One in the very not so distant future, I believe, and likely every other major credit card issuer until the end of time, and that is one term that is called breakage. Beautifully said by the AI overview. In business, breakage refers to unredeemed or unused portions of prepaid items like gift cards, loyalty points like credit card points and miles, or service contracts. Essentially, it's the revenue a company gains when customers don't fully utilize the value they've paid for. And more importantly, while it can be a source of revenue, it's also important to consider customer satisfaction and potential reputational damage. Now, where have we seen this exact type of behavior before? In fact, I looked it up and Forbes has actually directly talked about this not even a year ago. What is breakage and why does it matter? And they mention a couple of things, much like what we're talking about here. When breakage occurs, and they list here airline miles, hotel points, transferable currencies like Chase points and Amex points, airline vouchers, periodic bill credits like Uber Cash and airline incidental fee credits like we have on our Platinum card, prepaid travel credits like United Airlines Travel Bank credits, hotel credits, all of the credits that you know and love that have been on the Amex Platinum card as long as I've had the card since a $550 annual fee, and now recently introduced more heavily on the Chase Sapphire Reserve with its slew of travel credits, hotel credits, and lifestyle credits that possibly someone can use. And while they tout $1,500 in annual lifestyle value, or even the Amex Platinum card touting over $2,000 in value from their said credits, this term breakage is ultimately the reason why they will continue adding credits and benefits on these cards and raise the annual fees for years to come. Because everybody who is in the specific credit card points and miles niche, we know how to maximize those credits. We know how to get the most benefits possible out of all of them. And they know that us being the maximizers, we know that we can get way more than the annual fees on these cards. So at least it can be useful to us for the right person. But for every other user, for that 75% Gen Z audience that owns the Platinum card and the Gold card now, they are very likely, majority of them, if you've ever spoken to them, general credit card users who are not in this game, they never use the credits. In fact, most people aren't even aware that the credits exist in the first place. What does that lead to? More breakage. What does that lead to? More and more credits being left unused by the general population of people who hold the Platinum, Gold card, Chase Sapphire Reserve, Venture X, any credit card that comes with any sort of credit and stuff like that will ultimately get unused. Thus, for each one of those cards that offers them, more and more overall profitable card for the banks. And so, if there is this such term called breakage, and if there is a certain subsection of population that will pay that heightened annual fee for the perceived value of benefits that they get, or maybe they do get some benefits, but less and less people end up using the total amount of different credits because they don't want to jump through hoops. Well, you just created an ecosystem of not only more credit card acquisitions as they have more money for marketing spend. I can't tell you how many times I see an American Express commercial or Chase commercial or even Capital One nowadays where they're getting getting record high acquisitions every single quarter, paying higher and higher annual fees with no question, with very little cancellations that I can see. But you also get less credits being used, thus again allowing for more money to be left unused, thus making these companies more and more profitable. So you're never going to see credit card annual fees go down. You're never going to see credits and benefits go away. You will only see higher annual fees and more credits being given on these cards for more and more time. For I would bet for the rest of my lifetime, unless something shakes. And so, as we've just seen Chase completely copy American Express in all facets, as you saw in this intro, do expect all of these other companies to do the exact same. And so breakage is the main factor for all of this. It is the main reason why they can do what they do and continue charging for it. It's also why American Express and others have targeted certain types of credits for their particular audience. It's actually for a good reason. They mention here millennials and Gen Z are among the company's most loyal cardholders for American Express, and they have gone all in on the dining effort and actually entertainment effort, and it's all a means to keep all of the money in the family. Let me explain. American Express completes the acquisition of Talk, which is a dining reservation service. They also acquired Resi back in 2019, another restaurant booking service. What did we see subsequently on the most recent Amex Gold Card refresh other than a heightened annual fee of $75, upwards to $325 now to hold this card every single year? That's right, we have seen the introduction of more consumer credits. One being, oh, look at that, Resi. More and more credits to be used towards companies that they're in bed with. We know Dunkin' has had a partnership with American Express for quite some time now, and they have introduced their own Dunkin' credit to profit just that much more from their sponsors or just companies they have partnerships with. Sapphire Reserve introduces a very generous $300 dining credit, which I happen to like, but it is introduced only for restaurants under the Sapphire Reserve exclusive tables. So it's about 270 restaurants under this umbrella. Obviously, Sapphire owns this brand and also is in partnership with Visa that does hold access to these tables. Again, more and more money for their partners and keeping more money in the family. The Amex Platinum card comes with its own $200 hotel credit, but is it for any hotel? No, of course not. It's towards the Fine Hotels and Resorts program or the Hotel Collection, programs in which American Express themselves have heavy partnerships with or completely own outright. Sapphire responds with its own $500 credit towards the Edit Collection, which is their own program that, once again, with a 2-night minimum purchase with overpriced hotels in some cases, that again keeps money in the family. And while I actually think the best part of these cards have to do with these hotel programs themselves, and I'm not speaking about my personal feelings on them alone, but it's just to highlight that these credit and benefits will always benefit the consumer, but also the bank just that much more. And again, like I said a little bit earlier, when you get down to it, you don't actually need these cards to have access to these programs at the end of the day. So why do we necessarily need them is my question. And so it does seem like with all these changes, even though the Capital One Venture X did just kind of nerf their lounge access for authorized users and guests within the Venture X lounge network, a lot of people are holding out hope that it's just going to stay the same and that it's just going to keep its $300 annual travel credit, 10,000 bonus anniversary miles, and can somewhat easily justify the $395 annual fee without jumping through a million different hoops, or at least what I've heard from the general public. But one thing that I could definitely say, judging from this new rollout on the Sapphire card and just generally looking at these earnings calls and seeing why American Express is dominating so much, I'm not so sure. And so with Gen Z completely taking over, and we know that they are not necessarily maximizing these cards to the fullest ability, and as we see more and more rumors of the Amex Platinum card raising its annual fee and getting ever so closely to that $1,000 a year kind of level, American Express getting record high numbers every single quarter, and with now understanding the term breakage and understanding why they do this and why it's actually in the business's best benefit to be doing this in the first place to the general credit card population who owns their cards. And while Chase is following suit with everything American Express is doing, all the way from annual fees and how they operate to the actual language that disallows you to get credit cards or getting bonuses in the first place, I have to beg the question, where do we go from here? And I love how they sum this up here in this AI overview. It's a question that often arises when a situation has reached a turning point or a sense of uncertainty. It signifies a need to assess the current state, analyze options, and to make decisions about the future path. And while I mentioned I do not blame these banks whatsoever, in fact, it's the smartest thing that they could all possibly be doing. Because if you have a business and you could find a way to increase the profit margins, but then also increase the top line revenue based on raising annual fees and adding more credits that most people generally don't use, you do that. And you do it year after year, decade after decade, as long as you can until something breaks in the system. And while I don't think anything has broken yet for the general credit card holder of American Express or Chase or Capital One, I definitely do think something is broken within the credit card points and miles community. And that is why lately I've gone through such a metamorphosis in my own credit card journey where I have canceled pretty much all of my high annual fee premium credit cards because I have just found a way to get all of those different benefits like the special hotel stays or lounge access or even these credits and benefits that might actually fit you and where you can save some money and get other cards to allow you to get more different ecosystems and points of miles to allow you to take all of these life-changing vacations, which, by the way, is the entire reason to have these credit cards in the first place. It is to get some money back for the money that you're spending daily anyway, and to enhance the luxury and the level of travel experience that any of us can experience in a given year. Those are the only two reasons to have a credit card. And if one of those goes away, you have to make some changes for the future for you and the benefit of your family and how you're planning to travel for the future. And that's exactly why I talk about in this video all of the ways I've been able to take all of the things that you would get on annual fee credit cards, and you can get it for basically completely for free or at least way, way cheaper. And you can still have insanely outsized experiences. And by the way, way more vacations as a whole. So I hope to see you in this video. It's a great video. I hope you get some value from it. And I appreciate every single one of you for being here to the end. Subscribe, join the Discord down below, or join the newsletter for more insights like this. Thank you all. Keep traveling and have fun.